to OM 2023/198 consecutively. And B, so we've got them on the screen there now. And thank you, Peter.
Do I press the same
Press the
button?
right-hand side, but yes, thank you, that's better. And then component B of that amendment is that Councillor Nikki Jones's name is amended to be correct. As you can see on the screen, it was Nick Jones. So some minor administrative corrections there, councillors. Are there any questions on this amended? Well, in fact, sorry, we need to move the motion. So I'll move the motion, original motion, and Councillor Muir second it. And then I will move that amendment that I just read through to you, and Councillor Boland will second that. So are there any questions in regards to that amendment, councillors? Councillor Boland?
I was just going to mention Councillor Nick Jones seems to be at tonight's meeting as well in tonight's agenda. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We'll correct that as we go. Thank you, Councillor Boland. Oh, yes. Yeah, so we'll fix that up. Thanks for picking that up. Okay, so councillors, if there's no one to speak against that, I'll put that amendment to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. So now that becomes a substantive motion. I don't wish to speak for it. Do you, Councillor Muir? Anyone for or against? I'll put that substantive motion to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 7-0. Thank you. Sorry, 8-0. Yes, you're right. Okay, councillors, we also have item 6.2, which were the minutes of the special council meeting, also held on the confirmation of those minutes on the 25th of October. And I've got a motion here, and I also have a minor correction, so I'll pass that as amendment after we've got this on the floor. So the motion is that we confirm the minutes of the special council meeting held on the 25th of October 23 to be true and correct record of the meeting. For the purposes of putting on the table, I'll move that motion. If I can have someone to second it, please. Councillor Muir. And I'll propose an amendment to correct the minutes, which is just the date was wrong. So for both, it should be the 25th of October.
This is in the agenda. This is just to note that the agenda was wrong.
Sorry. Sorry, councillors. That was actually just to note that the agenda was wrong. It should have read the 25th of October and it didn't. So there's no need actually for an amended motion there. So I don't wish to speak to that. Councillor Muir, do you? No, we'll put that to the vote, confirming the minutes of that special council meeting. All those in favour? That's passed 8-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have item 7, deputations. I have 2 deputations. And the first one is item 11.2.1, LP13, the mobile food business policy. And we have Sandy here to make a deputation. Sandy, if you could please state your name and your address. Thank you.
Sorry about that. My name is Sandra Bullied. I reside in Dunsborough. My husband and I are the lessees of the Gracie's Town Store, General Store. I've come along this evening to present our side of why, while we're not in favour of a static mobile food truck being in the Gracetown region, I'd like to start off by thanking you for your time and the opportunity to present the reasons and importance of not approving any permits for a static mobile food coffee vendor to operate either mobile coffee or food trucks from Gracetown Main Beach, South Point Car Park or within Gracetown. As the owners of Gracie's General Store, we don't support any static mobile food businesses in the Bay. As leaseholders of a bricks and mortar store in the unique seaside hamlet of Gracetown and paying a significant sum in annual rent, providing both everyday and essential services, in comparison to a mobile food or coffee van paying $250 bond, peppercorn annual rent, $12.50 per hour for electricity. in offering similar staples in beverage, food and takeaway lines is truly an economic direct conflict to the general store. The store is a registered receiver of mail for Australia Post for the local community. We support the local sea search and rescue and bushfire brigade with fuel on an as-needed basis through established accounts. We're also responsible for the hiring of the Gracetown tennis courts for the local community and have a defibrillator installed on the exterior wall of the shop if it is needed in an emergency situation. We understand why a food or coffee vendor would want to acquire a prime piece of paradise with the forever sea view on a reduced monetary arrangement. The obvious difference between Gracie's General and a mobile food or coffee van is the store serves the broader community in many more ways with genuine core values and not just from an income stream. As the famous educator and author Stevie Covey penned, strength lies in differences, not in similarities. It is noted that no permit for a food or coffee van has been put forward for the Narrabut Beach area. The distance from the White Elephant Cafe to the boat ramp/car park are similar to that of Gracie's General and Gracetown Main Beach. Dennis and I purchased Gracie's General store in April 2022. The store operates 7 days a week, rain, hail or shine. Summer trading hours, first on site, 6 a.m, opening for service at 6:30, and we have chosen to close at 5 p.m, 7 days of the week. The hours for a mobile food business span 06 a.m. to 9 p.m, 365 days of the year. This will undoubtedly create a clash of interest to the general store with the similar operating hours. We also proudly employ a minimum of 12 plus people, an awesome crew, some who are permanent residents residing in the Bay, and their juniors. They get to walk to and from work in a safe and caring environment. We are proactive business owners, having invested heavily in infrastructure and upgrades within the store. We are researching the possibility of increasing or adding some more alfresco seating to suit our patrons' needs for shade, rest and recovery, along with important social interactions amongst like-minded peoples of all ages. We greatly support the Act Belong Commit and supported the AMR Shire Cuppa with the Council in 2022. The introduction of an integrated point-of-sale system in April 23 tracks all transactions and visitors to the store, reporting minute-by-minute daily flow. The fully integrated reporting and breakdown of sales clearly demonstrates that coffee and cafe food is critical in maintaining a balanced business. Seasonal changes strongly determine visitation to the area, which subsequently impacts on reduced cash flow. Navigating the significant decrease of trade through winter and inclement weather cycles would be unviable for one bricks and mortar cafe paying significantly higher rent and outgoings to coexist with a mobile food van operating within the same or similar trading times with coffee and food. The reduction of trade to the store by introducing a static mobile food business could have long-standing negative repercussions for the local community and visitors to the area. If a mobile coffee or food van were allowed to operate in the same area with the same or similar time frame, it would indeed have a catastrophic outcome on the bricks and mortar business, potentially forcing the store to close permanently due to downturn in trade and economic non-viability based on the day-to-day running costs. The store is multifaceted. We offer everyday staple items, newspaper, bread, milk, etc., which over the quieter times supports the economic viability. Gracie's General Store serves the community and visitors with great pride and commitment, supporting and contributing to local events including sponsorship of sporting clubs, Gracetown Kite Festival, Grommet Surfing Comp, to mention a few. The store offers a variety of local art and craft for sale, with 100% of sales being paid directly to the creators. Gracie's General does not charge for space or take commission. Our goal is to continue building a positive and vibrant seaside cafe for all visitors with diversity and connection to culture while respecting the surrounding environment. I am closing now. We continue to make improvements and upgrade infrastructure, which is vital and comes at a significant cost as leaseholders. The regular daily visitors to the store have noted with great delight and positivity the layout and changes are most welcome. I understand that I have forwarded this to each of the councillors in question. I will close. I'm going to skip a few of my paragraphs because I believe that you will have read everything, I'm hoping. So in closing and wrapping up, I would like to encourage Council to vote no to a static mobile coffee food van by leading the community with vision in creating more opportunity and diversity for Gracetown, encompassing non-competing times with the dining and markets for all to enjoy. And that is in reference to the piece that I sent to everyone about the itinerant and tent stall holders / potential activities and festivities within Gracetown and to be held at the Oval. We are not opposed to other services coming in. We do oppose strongly same hours, same days. So in closing, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, for your deputation. Thank you. And we also have a deputation in regards to the same item, 11.2.1 mobile food business policy from... Oh, sorry, councillors. Does anyone have any questions of Sandy?
Sorry. Sandy, can you just confirm what are your opening hours and do you offer meals as such?
We are a general cafe and store, so we have ready-to-eat takeaway food. We welcome people to dine in. We do have tables and chairs. We have alfresco seating as well.
And your operating hours?
First on site, 6 a.m. in the morning. We open the doors at 6:30 a.m. and we close at 5 p.m. 7 days a week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from any other councillors? No. Thank you, Sandy. Okay, Richard Muirhead, would you like to come up? Please state your name and your address.
Broke the first rule. My name is Richard Muirhead. I'm here as President of the Gracetown Quaramup Bay Community Incorporated. My address is 18 Seahawk Rest, Gracetown. Can I acknowledge the new councillors, the old councillors and the new President? It's great to be back in the room again. And can I congratulate the Shire on its mobile food business policy right across the Shire. Mobile food vans play an important place in modern service industry. Over the last 10 years or so, takeaway food has become an important part of life for any urban or semi-urban community. Not just Macca's, Hungry Jack's and Red Rooster, but many other high quality and better health offerings. And if it was an important part of life before COVID, COVID itself cemented casual takeaway food firmly in our lives, especially for busy families on weekends and evenings. And in places where there are inadequate bricks and mortar takeaway outlets, mobile food vans can fill what has become an important part of many people's lives, not replacing bricks and mortar offerings, but supplementing and complementing them. And not only do residents expect it, but so do visitors, and it definitely enhances the visitor experience. It is not a matter, I don't believe, and I acknowledge Sandy and the great work she does at Gracie's. It is not a matter of seeing the customer pie cut into smaller pieces. It is actually about growing the existing pie and also, importantly, being able to service and supply the dramatic increase in demand over the past few years from both very significant population growth around Gracetown and throughout Quaramup and its burgeoning suburbs. And as I've said before, and we'll say it again, Quaramup Bay is the beach for Quaramup, so we have a large marketplace there. I saw time and time again in tourism people fearful of competition, but when it came, they found that the market grows to accommodate the extra supply. And neither Gracetown nor Quaramup have after hours and or peak periods takeaway options. So once again, it is great that you are considering this across the Shire. I just want to make 3 short specific points, and as you'd expect, they are all related to Gracetown. Firstly, and if you refer to the picture out of one of the reports, the bottom photograph in that, the paper shows the location of any potential mobile food facility on the southern extremity of the main beach car park. If it did go ahead there, this will take up valuable car parking spaces, have customers and kids moving where vehicles are driving in and out, and present poor ambience. Hopefully no ambulance. There's pretty strong anecdotal consensus that the location of any mobile food or beverage supplier should be on the grassed area adjacent to the shower block. I've marked that in white on that little map with a little arrow going around to it. Just immediately to the south of where it is proposed, but on the other side of the line of trees. This is more sheltered from the wind and also from dust in the car park. It uses no car spaces and they're in short supply, as this council knows. It is closer to the power service and ablutions, and from an amenity point of view, it is right in the spot where people can spread out a rug and enjoy their fish and chips, pizzas or noodles at sunset. It has shade during the day, and currently this area is very underutilised. You've got photos there. The front page shows the site, the one with the big photographs, Ian, I was looking at. That shows where we're talking about on the front, and it shows that grassed area there. However, I understand senior council staff have suggested this area is too difficult because there would have to be too much clearing of natural bush for a vehicle to get in. The final set of photos show a very different story. The Prado in that photo is 1.9 metres wide. The maximum of any trailer is 2.5 metres, just 0.6 metres wider than this. The main central bollard there is already a fold-down bollard, and there only needs to move one bollard approximately 300 to 500 metres to relocate the current bin. So we think if you proceed, let's get the location right, and I think even going back, when you want to go back and communicate with the members down there or the community down there, it's important for them to understand where this might go. That area is crying out to be used. My second point is that the policy paper shows on page 17, this is a paper in your minutes, in your agenda, under interest groups, there's a reference to the Quaramup Bay Community Group being supportive of a van in the main beach car park, particularly coffee. We have no record of that, and I believe it was from a casual conversation with one of our committee members, and he says he was taken out of context. So I don't think that should be taken as any endorsement or approval by the GCBC. We haven't reached that point yet, if we even do. Notwithstanding that, I feel I can say that anecdotally again at this stage, there seems strong support, especially for an evening and possible lunchtime food van. The support for a food van is probably harder, the support for a coffee van is much harder to assess, as people are concerned that, as Sandy has said, Gracie's store still manages to do well. However, there are limitations on the size and capacity of Gracie's at peak times, and the waits can be long, and the forthcoming summer holidays will be a good test of that. Also, car parking around the store can be problematic. It is unlikely that people who want coffee whilst they are at the beach, especially with young kids, will venture by foot or car to the store for a coffee. They will just forego it. They won't get one. My final point is we want to make sure that any formal response that the GCBC makes during the public consultation period on this proposed policy reflects what our members want. Thus, once the final details of the proposed policy for Gracetown are established, we will be surveying our members to get a clear understanding of their preferences, and that is the position we will present back to the Shire. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Richard. Are there any questions from councillors for Mr Muirhead? Oh, Councillor Muir?
Perhaps not for Mr Muirhead, thank you for that. I guess just to clarify, either with Nick or Matt, so this policy is going out for consultation to the community. I'm assuming based on what comes back from the community, we could change potentially where any of those food vans exactly are. That's part of what comes back, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. And the report foreshadows that. So going to Sandra's deputation, talking about operating hours, we're really interested to get that kind of great feedback so we can try and work out whether there are times that might be acceptable to people where a van could be there after hours. In terms of Richard's deputation, he's saying he wants to survey his members and come to a consolidated view. That's exactly what we want to have happen as well. So we obviously have to have a starting position. We accept and know that sometimes the starting position doesn't end up being the final position, but that's why we undertake consultation to work that through as part of that process.
Ask one thing. It wasn't clear in the paper what form your consultation will take. We'll be more than happy if you want to come down and we can gather people together to talk, or we can go out with the document and get people to put in their thoughts and what hours they want and all that type of thing. But it's probably better if you come down and have a chat, or if somebody does, but that's up to you guys, obviously.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Richard. We now have item 8, petitions. I don't believe there are any. And item 9 is announcements from the presiding member. Well, I'd just like to welcome and acknowledge Mel Stevens, a new Director of Corporate and Customer Services. Really pleased to see you get that role. And also Nick Byrne, who is our new Director of Sustainable Economy and Communities. So yeah, joining our newly restructured executive leadership team. So I welcome them to the organisation in their new roles. Thank you, folks. And look forward to working with you both. And yourself, Nick, acting CEO this evening, of course, and Stephanie's not here. Okay, so councillors, the next item is item 10, questions from members of which due notice has been given. There are none. And we'll move on to item 11, reports of committees and whatever it was. Committees and officer reports. So the first item we have on the agenda is 11.1.1, which is the 2024 schedule of dates and venues for our ordinary council and committee meetings. Do I have a councillor? Actually, are there any questions before we move this motion of any councillors? Or do I have a councillor to move this motion? Councillor Binks, and a seconder, Councillor Boland. Councillor Binks?
I moved it as written, please.
And Councillor Boland?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Thanks for the agenda item, which sets out the history of how the meeting schedules have been adopted, which is useful to a new councillor to know how these things have been arrived at. And I am supportive of the schedule. I would just make mention that, unfortunately, we didn't get to Augusta late. It was 2 meetings back, I think. I was only a potential councillor at that stage, but I was going to attend the meeting down to Augusta to familiarise myself with the situation in Augusta. I did give some thought to whether there might be some make-up meeting for Augusta, but it probably doesn't suit the schedule that we've adopted there. It's just unfortunate that there was that severe weather that meant that we couldn't get to Augusta on that occasion. But yes, I'm happy with the meeting schedule that we've come up with. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And there was only one councillor at risk that night, and that was me returning to Augusta, so that's better than all 8 of us. So are there any other councillors that wish to speak for or against this item? I'll put this to the vote then, please. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. The next item is 11.2.1, which is Local Planning Policy 13, the Mobile Food Business Policy. Are there any questions from councillors? oh, sorry, we've got a declaration of a indirect financial interest from Councillor Binks. And he's provided the reason. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but it will be in the minutes. But he was excluding himself from this decision-making process. So are there any questions, councillors, in regards to this item? Councillor Boland?
Thank you. Yes, just following on from the deputation by Mrs. Bulleid, seems like there is objection on her part to a coffee van operating in Gracetown, and that makes sense with her business model that a lot of coffees are sold according to what she's given to us, but there didn't seem to be as much objection to an evening food van, and I'm wondering whether we can limit the times of the permit and also to the type of service, and let's say excluding coffee, but make it a food van. I assume we can, because I've seen them operating, such as the curry van down at Rotary Park, that sort of thing. But is that something we can make part of what we're putting up for public comment?
Yes, certainly we can and do that by way of conditions that we impose on permits, but we could also, to give people comfort, we could also include something in the policy to that effect, so, you know, so that people know up front what they would be likely to get approval for and not get approval for. I'd encourage you to allow this to be advertised as is, so that you can see those submissions of support and of objection together in context when it comes back to you for final approval.
Thank you, Mr. Cuthbert. Are there any other questions? Okay, councillors, so we have a motion here that council grants approval pursuant to clause 5 of the deemed provisions of the LPS 1 to adopt the revised policy for the purposes of advertising. So I have a councillor to move it. Councillor Muir, seconded Councillor Earl. Councillor Muir, do you wish to?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this put forward by the staff. I think it's quite exciting to see what the different food vans or mobile food businesses might be, and I think there's a lot of scope for operating at different hours on different days and perhaps having a larger diversity of food offering. I think that's exciting, and I encourage anyone with an interest, I guess, to put in their own submission, and then we can, I guess, be informed.
Thank you, Councillor Muir. Councillor Earl?
Thank you very much. I certainly support this going out for public consultation, and I hope the people who made the deputations tonight put in their objections, their concerns, or their supports, as the case may be. I guess I've probably been around long enough to see this whole of this thing from when it first started, and we had, I think, way back when, we had a serious objections about having the van down at Rotary Park. You know, well, that's proved to be a great success. And one of the things that I've seen in around Quarramup since the rapid growth in Quarramup, but also the venues opening there, is Bella and Napoli put their pizza van in the forecourt at the tap house. Now, you know, which they're allowed to do under the policies which were revised. That's terrific. But what it's done is actually it's made Quarramup boom. It has revitalised Quarramup with the Quarramup Club and West Wings and now the Tap House and somewhere else for people to get food. And it's made the pie hasn't remained the same. The pie has grown with all of this. And I think that's what happens with a lot of these food vans. You see them all over the state, not far from establishments. Don't have much of an effect on establishments. So I think decisions should be made down the track as how we go with this, but I really support them. I actually think they're terrific. Certainly since COVID, we've seen a marked change in what goes on out there. So I'm very supportive of it and look forward to it coming back sometime down the track.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against this motion? No, then I'll put it to the vote, councillors. All those in favour? That's 7-0. If we could just let Councillor Binks in, please. Councillor Binks, that was passed as it was unanimously. Your information, that was passed unanimously as it was written in the agenda. Item 11.2.2 is the IPQS 072302 for bulk concrete and stabilised sand. Are there any questions for any staff members in regards to this item? Well, I'll just mention, I know there was a little bit of concern around the text in the motion, and I think we'll just get this on the. I actually think it's okay except for one word, but I'll just propose that we move this motion initially. So, Councillor Boland, seconder. Councillor Earl. We just so the amendment. Really is just to make the text a bit more clear, so administratively. So if you bring where it's got in, back up to near respondent B, it's just kind of separated in the motion. Yeah, so if you bring the in, so just the, yeah. So you bring that back up to near B. Yes, and then, well, okay, so it's just automatically defaulted like that. Okay, so it reads, accepts the quotes submitted by respondent A and B in the evaluation panel report recommendation detailed in confidential attachment 1 as the most advantageous quotes, because there's two, to form a contract. Okay, yep. And then second, delegates the formation of the contracts with respondents A and B inclusive to the Chief Executive Officer. Councillor Boland, are you happy with those changes or did you have further changes?
Thank you, Madam President. Almost happy. Yes, I had those same things. It just looked a bit untidy and I thought it didn't read terribly well. That capital I with in doesn't look quite right. Hopefully when the minutes are prepared, then that can be adjusted. I'm quite happy with the content of the resolution. It could be improved possibly with commas after the word recommendation, in the evaluation panel report recommendation, comma, detailed in confidential attachment 1, comma, as the most advantageous quotes to form a contract. These are just minor details, but I just thought it could do with some improvement. And I think we're going to achieve that.
Okay, I think we've got that. Ian's just going to add that. Yep, add that in there. Okay, now, councillors, I just want to check that we've done this correctly. So, sorry, Clara, would you mind just scrolling up to the motion? Okay, Councillor Boland and Earl. Are you happy to have Councillor Boland and Earl as I think that's correct, the amendment? You were the movers and seconders of the amendment as well, yeah? So we'll just vote, we'll vote on this amendment, which will then become part of the substantive motion if it passes. Correct? Are you happy with that?
I wasn't sure that we're making an amendment, but if we're making an amendment, I'm fine with that. I thought we were just making some... Is it
necessary, Mr McLeod? Not? Administrative. Okay, so it's not an amendment. Thank you. So, okay, thanks for clarifying that. Okay, so we're dealing with the substantive motion slightly modified administratively. Councillor Boland, do you wish to speak in regards to this item?
In favour of the recommendation, thank you.
Yep, and Councillor Earl? Anyone else wish to speak for or against? If not, we'll put that to the vote, please. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Item 11.2.3 is the RFT 01-24, provision of cleaning services for buildings and public amenities. Councillors, we have a motion here that you're all aware of. Can I have a councillor to move this motion, please? Councillor Binks, Councillor Earl. Does anyone have any questions in regards to this? No? Okay, Councillor Binks.
I'm happy to move it as written.
Councillor Earl. Okay, I'm just going to make a comment. Yeah, I think this is a great outcome, actually, this agreement, and I look forward to seeing it follow out over the next few years. So it's a substantial one, and I think the the process has been rigorous to get where we are. So if there's no one that wishes to speak against this, we'll put this item to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried 8-0 unanimously. Thank you. Okay, item 11.3.1, list of payments for September 2023. We have a motion here in front of us. Do I have a councillor to move that, please? Councillor Earl, and a seconder, Councillor Keno. Councillor Earl? Councillor Keno? If there's no one to speak against, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's 8-0. Thank you. The next item is 11.3.2, which is the 2023-24 organisation operating grants. Now, I have a couple of declarations of interest, which I mentioned before. So we have an impartiality interest from both Councillor Jones and Councillor Keno, who have declared membership of the Margaret River Business Network. Now, we just have a minor administrative error in the report text for this item. And it's just in regards to the organisation name of the ACDA. So it had in the report Augusta Community Districts Association. We're just going to correct that to Augusta Community Development Association, ACDA. Are there any questions, councillors, in regards to this item? Councillor Binks?
Yeah, just a very minor thing. I note through the report that they're referred to as organisational operating grants, but the recommendation refers to the organisation. I'm not sure if that's a relevant thing or not.
That's a minor administrative correction I'm sure we can make there in the recommendation, organisational. Because, yep, that's indeed what it is. Okay, so do I have a councillor to move this? Sorry, Councillor Earl, we have a question.
Thank you. Yeah, to the acting CEO, I believe. In the sustainable economy grants, I think there's $60,000 available, and there's still 10,000 left. What's to become of that money?
Through the chair, I believe it's detailed in the attachment, but I think from memory, portion of that allocation was held over for a specific purpose for the business network. We might need to double check that for you.
I'll chase you up over that later. Thanks.
Any other questions? Councillor Keno?
Just a quick question. When the groups applied for their funding, they were given an option to apply for 3 years. So some of them have applied for 3 years. I don't recall that any of them have gotten 3 years. Can you just explain, is that application now valid for the next 3 years, or do they have to apply every year and go through that process?
Again, through the chair, my understanding is that to receive the grant award, you have to make an application every time. I think what the report canvasses here is the opportunity in providing one-year funding agreements to review the position that's included in the council policy and the associated guidelines, which may include the manner in which the grants are distributed, the process for how the grants are distributed, and the allocations in each area, if you like. So it may be that in doing so, there's an opportunity to, I guess, streamline the process, ensure that if it's the council's wish that there's no need to reapply in future years, but certainly at the moment with this capped end date and potential to review the way that the grants are handed out, then yes, people would still need to apply next year.
I'll just add to that, there is in the policy or the guidelines, it does say that applications for multi-year funding up to 3 years will be considered and will be subject to the Shire receiving a satisfactory grant acquittal for each financial year. But as you noted, I don't think any of them were multi-year funding. So, and we recently reviewed those guidelines. So, but I mean, we can always relook at them. Okay, councillors, I need a councillor to move this. Councillor Muir, and a seconder, please. Councillor Keno. Councillor Muir, do you wish to speak to this item?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm really pleased that we're actually offering grants for organisations to run, to actually pay for expenses like staff and administration. From my work for a not-for-profit, there are not many grant opportunities for organisations like that. And if you look at the diversity, I guess, of the groups that have been supported, from mental health to community pantry, homelessness, men's shed, to the Margaret River Business Network, there's a good diversity. And I guess it supports our community in many different ways, and it makes sure that there's actually staff who can deliver projects. So I'm really pleased to see that happening. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Keno?
Yeah, I'm supportive of the funding that's been allocated, but I really would like to flag that I think that we need to look into the future about having a look at these 3-year fundings, because for these little groups to put in these applications is horrendous. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. They're volunteers, and we really need to acknowledge that. Well, not all of them are volunteers, I'll take that back. But, we really need to acknowledge the work and the effort that goes into these, and also for them, a lot of them for forward planning and things like that. So it'd be even just nice if this application was to be on the desk for next year, because it was a 3-year application. Would be a great outcome on that. But yeah, no, I'm supportive of the funding that's gone through.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against this item? No, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's passed unanimously. Thank you. Next item is 11.3.3, the Age Friendly Community Plan 2023 to 2027. Are there any questions in regards to this item, councillors? Nope. Okay, so we have a motion here that council endorses the draft age-friendly community plan for public consultation for a 28-day period. Can I have a councillor to move that, please? Councillor Earl and Councillor Keno, second. Councillor Earl. No, thanks. Councillor Keno? No. Anyone else wish to speak for this item? No. I'll put that to the vote then, councillors. All those in favour? That's 8-0 passed unanimously. Item 12 is motions from members of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Item 13, motions for consideration at next meeting. There are none. Item 14, new business of an urgent nature from members and CEO. There are none. And there is no confidential business also. So I declare the meeting closed at 6:21 p.m. Thank you.